welcome to Gabie Snake Goodies. Today is a finished object video on the Salty Days sweater by Veronika somebody. I will put all of her information, her name here and her design name here, and then her link to the Salty Days pattern below. Hopefully my dog will behave. Stay put, be good. Before I begin, like I said, my name is Gabie, and I am Gabie Snake Goodies on Instagram and Ravelry, and my hand-dyed yarn is on Etsy at Gabie Snake Goodies, and then I also have an Instagram handle that I just post yarn pictures, and that's GKG Yarn. Yes, so let's begin. Ready, Moose? You gonna behave? Moose might behave. He's just gonna abandon me instead. All right, so this sweater it's a top-down sweater, and it starts in the back, and you increase until you get to the sleeve, where the sleeve split is, and then you pick up stitches and knit across the front. Join those two sections, knitting flat, again until you meet where it would be under the sleeves. Then you join it in the round and you knit down. You finish it with an Italian bind off, which I think looks very lovely, and it also kind of gives it a little bit of, I don't know, it cinches it in a little bit at the bottom. It's not quite as stretchy of a bind off as some other bind offs. Let's see. Then you pick up stitches for the arms, you knit those down. They are tapered, so they do decrease as you go. And then again, you end with a twisted rib. There's twisted ribbing on the bottom, the collar and the cuffs, and you end that with an Italian bind off. Then you pick up for the neck and you knit the collar basically twice as long as you want it, and you fold it over and seam that or stitch that in. I actually didn't stitch it. I did when I did my bind off. I picked up a stitch from the inside here and just bound it off together to do my folded collar. Do make sure that you line up your stitches properly so it doesn't get askew. It's very easy to kind of make it offset because these are only 1 by 1 ribbings. So yeah, make sure you line that up properly. So that is the construction. The yarn is a DK weight merino held with a kid silk or kid mohair and silk lace weight strand. I did not do the same brand that she did, the same company yarn, but I did do that same combination. I did a my DK weight super wash merino nylon in Gogh Almond Blossom, held with 1 strand of kid mohair and silk lace weight in the same colorway, Gogh Almond Blossom. And I love how it turned out. It is getting warm, so I don't think I'll be able to wear it right now. But we may have a few cool evenings or mornings that I can break it out. So it was fun to knit because of the variety. It was not mindless. There were sections that were fairly mindless, like the 2 by 1 ribbing on the sleeves, but everything else you kind of had to pay attention to, because you couldn't really memorize it because it changed. But it wasn't difficult. You have a lace pattern up here, and then each section is divided up with these little eyelet and pearl bumps here. And then there is a cabled section, which did cinch in a little bit, and I was slightly worried that it wouldn't block out even, but it seems to be just fine. And then you repeat that little diamond lace before doing some more 2x1 ribbing and then doing the ribbing for the bottom hem. Yes, and then the sleeves are primarily the 2x1 ribbing. It's 2 purl 1 knit. And then the same diamond pattern is on the sleeves and then the ribbing for the bottom. And it is knit on fairly large needles. I think there are 7s or 8s. I will put that information up here, my needle size, and then any other information like that. I knit a size, let's see, small, the second size in the pattern. My bust is somewhere between 34, 36, with a bra like 36 inches. Yeah, so I'm like 34, 35. Anyways, so not that large chested, but I did want to be very roomy. So I probably could have gone with the smallest size, but again, I wanted to have lots of room and just it to feel more sweatshirty than like thin sweater. I like the look and the feel of a big, wide garment. So I chose the second size, the size small. That's supposed to have a finished bust circumference of 44.75 inches, and that's 112 centimeters. My garment pre-blocked was 40 inches, and post-blocked is 44. So with blocking, I definitely hit the gauge requirements here. Get with the given needles of the pattern, which I do have that information. So it calls for 2 needles, a US 8 or 5 millimeter for the main size, and then a US 2.5 or 3 millimeter for the ribbing. And the gauge is 19 stitches and 25 rows before blocking, and 17 stitches and 24 rows after blocking. And that is in the 1x2 rib. I find that a difficult pattern to swatch in really to measure. I don't think that's the easiest one for me to measure, but I think it would probably have been easier to measure just like this little lace area, because it's more stockinette stitch than anything. But the twisted rib, it says 18 stitches and 30 rows on those smaller needles after blocking. I did not stretch out my cuffs at all, and honestly I'm not sure what they measure, but the rest of the garment works. All right, length from underarm to hem. Now that one I think I am a little bit different. It says 14.5 inches or 37 centimeters, and mine is only 13.5 inches. I'm not sure, I might have gone a little shorter on this little 2x1 ribbing section. I'm somewhat short-waisted, so it's like the perfect length for me. If it was longer, it would be okay, but it would be a little bit longer than what I would like. So again, I'm only 13.5 inches, and the garment calls for, or the sample, I guess, her pattern says 14.5. And let's see. The sleeve length, she has the sleeve lengths from underarm to the end as 18.5 inches or 47 centimeters for all sizes. That would be way too short for me. I have mine, I knit them to, actually I feel like I followed the pattern for the sleeves, and pre-blocked they were only 17 inches, which like it was kind of short. And I was really hoping that they would grow a little bit of blocking. I just measured them at 21 inches, and they were like the perfect length for me. Again, I'm pretty sure I followed the pattern for these. I didn't change that at all. So I don't, 18.5 would be too short for me. I mean, that'd be way too short. So I'm glad they're a little bit longer than what the pattern says they are. But just be careful if your arms are not long. These could be a little extra long. Now, the one thing I was very concerned about prior to blocking was the circumference of the sleeves, because when I tried it on, it was snug in the sleeves. Again, this is ribbing, so ribbing tends to like bunch up, and I wasn't sure if it was going to relax in the blocking. Pre-blocked, my circumference at the top up here was only 10 inches. And the pattern says the upper sleeve should be around 16 inches, and that's 40.5 centimeters. So it was like 6 inches too small. And so I was quite concerned because I didn't want to redo them. But after blocking, I did use blocking wires in the sleeves because, like I said, I was concerned about it. And ribbing tends to bunch up, so I wanted to kind of block it out and see if I could get it to a comfortable pattern size for me. And I was able to, when I just measured it, it's totally dry and everything, I do get 16 inches here at the upper arm, and it decreases as you go, but it's not snug anywhere now. So very, very relieved and happy about that. Yes. So I'm pretty close to all of the dimensions. A little bit shorter in my length and a little bit longer in the sleeves. But other than that, it fits quite like the pattern. It does say that the sample that she knit is a size small, which is the same sample, or the same size I did. It has extra small, and goes up to 5XL. And that her bust size was 87 centimeters or 34.25. So she's close to my measurements, maybe a little bit smaller than I am. Anyways, I really like it. I would highly recommend it. I love the yarn combo. It is not for a summer garment unless you live somewhere that it is cold in the summer. But it would be a perfect, like a week ago, it was like 36 degrees Fahrenheit. And so it would have been a perfect spring garment for that weather, but it wasn't done then. So maybe we'll swing back to the coldness. We'll see. So yes, please do knit one yourself. I did enjoy it. You do have to pay attention. I wouldn't say this is a brand new beginner garment, but as long as you don't mind focusing, you will be just fine. You just have to, it's not a mindless knit. But I wouldn't say it's super difficult either, but it's definitely not mindless and not a brand new beginner garment. I did have 2 of my knitting students who have only been knitting for maybe 2 years at most. And they were both successful with it. So it really depends on your mindset and what you want in it and how much you want to focus. Yes. Read your pattern and follow the pattern and you will be just fine. She does have video tutorials, I believe. I did not use those. But if you get stuck, that is a very nice option to have those video tutorials to help you along. The one other thing I did want to mention is here in the back where you pick up your stitches to come to the front. It is a little bit snug, like compared to the rest of the garment. Right here where that, I guess, kind of seam-like thing is, even though it's not a seam, where you're picking up stitches. And I want to mention that on a positive note, actually, not a negative note. The thing I like about that is it adds structure, and I know that, like, the garment's not just going to grow and, like, pull down over my shoulder and just have the sleeves grow. It's not a very heavy garment to begin with, partly due to the fact that it's only a DK weight yarn. with that mohair, which is very light. But it is nice that it won't ever sag because it does have a little bit of structure there in the shoulders. So that's a good thing. Anyways, let me know if you have knit this and what your thoughts are, and yeah, good luck. If you're scared of it, don't be. Like I said, there are tutorials to help you online that she has created, and just pay attention to your pattern, you'll be fine. And if you make a mistake, it's complicated enough, you just leave it and keep going. And yeah, nobody will notice but you. So, happy knitting, bye. So this is the Salty Days before blocking. This is the second size. It's got plenty of room here in the main body of the sweater. And I love that roominess. It's a little cinched in at the waist, and I'm happy with that. And the color is okay. It could grow maybe just a little bit of blocking, I'd be fine with it. Or if it stayed the same, that would be good. However, the sleeves are, I knit them exactly to the size, the second size dimensions or pattern instructions. But they are snug and a little bit short on me. I might have long arms, I don't know. But I was expecting kind of a roomy sleeves. So I am crossing my fingers and my toes and hoping that the sleeves grow in blocking. The rest of it, I would be fine if it stayed the same. I'd also be fine if it grew a little bit, but don't really care. But the sleeves, I can't wear it like this, unless maybe if I just like have it bunched up. But that's not, I don't want to have to bunch up the sleeves to make it feel acceptable. If it doesn't grow in blocking, then I guess it will go to one of my daughters, which was not the plan. This one's supposed to be for me. So, we will see. I love everything else about it right now.